and the only failure for me is stopping. Have you ever fantasized about winning the lottery so that you could spend all your time in your studio doing what you want, making something bigger than yourself? Something that's both your dream and your challenge? I don't play the lottery, but I fantasized all the time. And somehow I made it happen. With a lot of time, a lot of persistence, and a lot of help, I have my studio. I pulled it off. Mostly. I haven't made it as far as I want, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But if I pull this off, you can too. My goal? To complete these 18 sculptures in the next year and have a promo show called Holding Up the Sky. This video marks a beginning, and I've put it off for quite a while because I'm just a little bit terrified about coming out with this. Can I get it done? If you've been watching my videos for a little while, then you know that I struggle to finish things, and I have my reasons, but it's time to get this show on the road. I'm Diane van der Zanden, a sculptor working with paper mache here in the mountains in Colima, Mexico. My husband is Colimense, but I decided that I wanted to be here when I saw a group of stone sculptors working on a corner near the university with tarps above them to protect them from the sun. They were from all over the world. The university had invited them, and their sculptures were later moved to the grounds of the university theater. This is my studio, Atelier Arenas, partly named with my grandma Chartres in mind and partly named to help Spanish speakers say the name. It's a small space, but it's got pretty much everything that I need. Space for Anna to work over here. This is the outdoor part of my studio where I make molds. And this is what they call a pila here in Mexico, which is essentially my utility sink. My hot box and space for me to work all over the place. I've been sculpting and teaching for decades. Clay, bronze, plaster, resin, molds of all kinds. But when I moved here, I wanted to work with something less toxic, more sustainable materials. Paper mache from easily accessible, local, recycled paper became my focus. I use paper mache, but with a twist. I use molds, and it's been a lot of trial and error. Adam Savage says that he makes each thing 3 times in order to get to where he wants to get with his piece. My process can be infuriating. After 50 years sculpting, I think that I shouldn't have to make things 3 times. I kind of feel like make it once, but it never happens that I make it once. I channel that frustration into excitement and persistence. The key for me to remember is that it rarely all comes together at once, especially when you're making things up from thin air. So thank you, Adam Savage. Holding Up the Sky is a deeply personal project. There are 18 sculptures. Actually, I know exactly what 18 of the sculptures are going to be, and there's a 19th one here and probably a 20th sculpture that's going to happen. It's a body of work that expresses my love of nature, my fear for the planet, and my life in a flimsy human woman's body, and how those things connect. It's my way of exploring the beauty and fragility of my personal world and the idea of holding it all together. Or a way of holding it all in my mind without crumbling, without becoming paralyzed. And this project came from a special spark. I had a whole bunch of things going, as usual. I had the idea of groups of figures. I had the 3 women singers going. I had Where is Mama going, and the lovers in process. And then I started working on this sculpture that I actually measured my body, and I made my body about half life size in plasticine. I cut it up, and then I made molds and started producing paper mache, hollow, lightweight paper mache sculptures using these molds. All right, so I've got everything here to make the My Sorrow sculpture. There are a lot of pieces for this sculpture. There are all these curls that need to get attached here, and arms and hands and feet, and the legs are not together because I like to put the legs together after I put the feet onto the base. So we'll be doing that pretty soon too. The idea moved me, and it turned out that for me it's a way to show my love of nature, my human vulnerability, and to challenge myself creatively to make 18 sculptures from these molds, each sculpture being different, and to have this show. And there's something in it that I feel like I can really say without being exactly able to articulate it. It feels like it's giving me something that I can really bite into. Sculpting has never been easy. I don't think it's easy for anyone. And this method took me years to work out. I've struggled, I've felt lost, I've questioned everything, including whether I really want to be a sculptor. And I know I'm not alone in that feeling. I think pretty much every artist has these kinds of battles. And it's taken a lot of little steps to get here. Like starting out off-grid, without a full bathroom, without a full kitchen, using a generator to pump water up to the roof so that we could take a shower. I would do it differently. If I did it again, I would build the studio first. So after all these years, I still get caught up in the challenges. I make myself challenges. But now with a dedicated studio and this project, I'm more determined than ever. It's not always graceful, but I make it work. Setting up each piece of sculpture can be an adventure in itself. The structure doesn't hold, or the sculpture's tilted off a little bit to one side. I end up trying to figure out how to shim it up without destroying the sculpture at the same time. Or the form is off, like the belly of my breath. I'm gonna have to cut it apart again. Or I just can't figure it out. I can't figure out how to say what I want to say, or I can't figure out how to put the forms together so they do what I want them to do. And there are days when I feel like everything's wrong and I can't figure out what the hell I'm doing, and I don't know why I'm even here doing this. There are days when my hands hurt. There are days when my butt hurts. Some days the sculptures feel like they're holding me up while I'm holding them up. I mean, I know for people who really have children, it's not true, but for me, it feels a bit like having children. I've had problems with mold growing from the humidity during the rainy season. And it's going to start raining again in May or June. Like the worst of the humidity won't come until September. That means that the large sculptures, my soup, my fall, my rise, all the ones that don't fit into the cabinet, they have to be dried and treated and finished before it gets too wet again. So this is ambitious and fueled by everything that I believe in. A love for this place, a commitment to sustainability, and a hope to connect with you through this art. And for me, it's a success if you feel these themes coming through. Ambition comes with its own set of challenges. After 50 years of sculpting, I'm still figuring it out. And that's also the beauty of it for me. I love the challenge of it. And every setback teaches me something new. There's no straight path. It's all ups and downs. And the only failure for me is stopping. So if there's one thing that I've learned, it's that anybody can bring their ideas to life by taking small steps. Start with what you have, let go of perfection, and keep moving forward. Creating something meaningful isn't about knowing everything. So if you have an idea that you're passionate about, don't wait. Start now. You don't need the perfect conditions. You don't need perfect resources. Just start and keep going. When I started this channel, I had no idea that it would do this well. I'm not much of a talker, I'm not much of a writer, but I wanted to share the method. I really didn't expect anybody to watch, but here we are. It's going really well. So I've been stressing about making this video. In every video, I come to you with my heart open to share this method with you so that it doesn't get lost. But I also have felt like I need to show you everything, like the building of the studio, the building of the house. I sit down with Rogelio and I tell him, like, I want to show them everything. I've got so much planned. These sculptures that you see behind me, some of them are still in a lot of pieces. Some of them are almost done. Each one is a step closer to holding up the sky and my traveling exhibition. This year, I'll make videos showing you how I made the original plasticine, how I made the molds, and how I continue working on each individual sculpture that will make up this group of sculptures. I'm so excited to show you how it comes together in the months ahead, here on the ranch, figuring out how to have the show here, and talking to people, because I'm gonna need help from a lot of people to make this thing go. And I can't wait to do it with you. Thank you for joining me. Your support means everything to me. Subscribe and comment and stay tuned as we work toward holding up the sky.